Hi, this is Karen Cubico, and today we're going to talk about soulmates. How do you find one? How do you know when it's really real? So, I guess the best way for me to talk about it is through what I've learned through my own journey. So, several years ago, I started getting into learning about, understanding, helping others remember past lives. So in doing that, my inspiration and my incentive was to release myself of asthma, which I did. It took 5 years, but when I remembered that final lifetime and the reason for why I originally had asthma to begin with, it was all about feeling unwanted. So in the midst of that, I was doing a lot of personal research while I was helping other people remember their past lives. And I decided it might be beneficial for someone else to learn about or maybe be inspired by to do their own past life work, because you really get to like the root cause, or you really go way deep to really see from a higher perspective maybe why you do this or why you do that, why you have a fear of this, and why you might have a relationship pattern of some kind. So when I finished writing this book, Life is Just Another Class, I put 16 different past lives in here. And almost every adult, because there's some children past lives in here, every adult lifetime that I had in here, for the most part, kind of had a crappy relationship. And I recognized that it was sort of a pattern that I was having in my current lifetime. So again, another healing aspect of how past life regression can help you heal. So I took the knowledge that I had gained from remembering all these past lives for myself, while helping other people too at the same time, and trying to fit all that together. And I recognized that it was time for a major change in my life. So I ended a relationship and moved on from that. So now in the meantime, through doing all this past life regression work, helping other people to remember their past lives, I had recognized that I started having intuitive abilities. And so when I was able to start to see and talk to spirit guides, angels, see other passed over loved ones, see other people's past lives, it's such an honor, first of all, to be able to do that. But I started to really try to hone those skills because I recognized the value of what it can do to help somebody else. And so here we are today, several years later, after starting my journey to helping others through readings and intuitive guidance, and getting that information from spirit guides and angels, which are hanging out with me here today while I'm talking to you, for me and for you. And so they inspired me to write another book, but this time it was actually personally difficult to write, because this, my second book, is about breaking relationship patterns. And it's really about finding what is the root cause of why you're repeating the same pattern. Why do I always have this kind of person come in my life, that kind of person come in my life? What the heck? Is it them or is it you? And so and doing a lot of deep dives for myself personally, and then through doing all the readings for others, I started to see, interestingly, a pattern that is for, why do you choose to be a type A personality? Or maybe why do you feel like everything has to be perfect? Or why do you keep ending up with narcissists? It's moderately annoying, right? And it's a drain. And there's root causes for all of that if you dig deep enough and you really kind of get to the root cause of all that. One of the reasons I wrote this book is because I felt like, I felt like this patterns in relationships just kept repeating. And when you are doing personal healing to release any of those patterns, you're really loving yourself. And that's just a way to love yourself when you do inner work, okay? But what's really interesting, and what all the guides and angels kept repeating to me over and over again as I did session after session with different people for when I was providing a reading and information and guidance from their spirit guides and angels to them, the resounding message was, the more that you do the inner work, the more that you do the healing, the prize tends to be your true love soulmate. So what does that look like? I'm not really personally sure yet. I'm still looking, or I guess not really looking, but waiting for them to come into my life in a very profound kind of way where there's no question. But when you do release and heal, you're loving yourself more. You're releasing the baggage. You're removing any blocks to your heart, to allowing a true love soulmate person to come into your life. In addition to all that healing work, I spoke to Archangel Chamuel one day. I didn't even know who he was at the time, and he came to me, it's a complete long story, but he came to me one day and we chatted about what is a soulmate? How do you know? And what was so interesting to me is that he said, every person that you meet is your soulmate. It really is the percentage of connection that you have with that other person. So what are you trying to strive for? I said, well, what about that bad date I had the other day? And he said, well, that was only 17%. And so that's pretty bad if you're looking for the higher amount of connections where you can connect and really come together on lots of levels, like past life levels, soul levels, spiritual healing levels. I mean, it's not just that you both like to eat a certain kind of popcorn or candy bar. It is more than that. It's I've done personal healing work. I have, gone through these kinds of things, and on some level you have too. And, you connect on all these kinds of levels. It's very multidimensional. So he said, well, that was a lesson to help you understand the drastic difference between what's really not for you, to help you understand what is for you. And so he said that what you're trying to strive for is like an 85% or better connection. And so I was like, all right, fine, pretty cool. So how do you get there? The more inner healing work that you do, the more that you love yourself. Then that other person can come to you because they've also done that healing. Sometimes people call that mirror work. Sometimes it is because you're vibrating at one level and that other person vibrates on that same level and you come together and you meet. It's very fulfilling whenever you can find people in your life, whether it is romantic or otherwise, that you really have a strong affinity for or a strong connection for. So, this book that I wrote here, I only included 11 different types of patterns that you could heal from. I did include information in here about what Archangel Chamuel said. He also talked to me about twin flames and the difference between that and a soulmate. It's quite a bit different. But when you're looking for your soulmate, the very first thing that you need to do to help you reach that goal, if you will, and it almost feels like it's the prize for doing all that inner work, is really you're loving yourself so much more and really getting to know yourself on a whole soul level. So what's really interesting too, though, is I have all these guides and angels standing here with me. I've talked to them over several years over this discussion of where's this guy, where's this person that I've met maybe in a past life or have some kind of strong soul connection to. And before I even finished writing this and publishing it, they gave me a dream 2 days in a row to do this particular video, and it took me all this time to figure this out and to get the lighting and to set all this up and to have the the inner power to actually sit down and say all these things to you and share it all. But they said to me in this very deep message that what's so interesting and slightly scary, not gonna lie, that there are 16 different potential soulmates for me in the entire world that I could match with, that are single, open, and connect to me on an 85% higher or level, based on what I call the Chamuel scale. And 2 of them will watch this video. So, as you're watching this video, think about, how many potential soulmates do you have? Ask for your spirit guides and angels to give you some inner guidance on what do you need to release and heal, where do you need to do the inner work, and what steps are you taking to love yourself more every day. And if you are in a relationship or potentially thinking about, seeking your soulmate, as you work through these different relationships, be really aware of the patterns you might be repeating to help you dissolve or remove those. Ask the guides and angels to help you. They can't interfere in our lives unless you ask. So it's really important that you try to do that. And then ask for that number. Ask Archangel Chamuel specifically and say, okay, what's my percentage of connection with this person or that person? And then allow yourself to receive the answer so that you can find someone special in your life. Lots of love to you. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And if you want to reach out to me, all my links are below.